Let's go, Rider Nation.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, here we go. It's a feeling now. Get 'em high, get 'em low, 'cause we're dealing now. Everybody's giving it all they got, 'cause we're ready.
Welcome to the Piffles podcast, your Saskatchewan Rough Riders fan podcast. Thanks for joining us here this week. You got me. I'm Alex.
I'm Steve.
And people watching can see I'm wearing a brand new jersey, and I want
noticed
to
that.
point two things out. One, I broke my rule about not wearing a player's number for the second time. First time was Western Dresser. Now it is Roland Milligan.
Is
And
that really
two,
is zero really a number though?
that is true. That is actually that's a good thing. I've only broken the rule once then.
There you go.
And secondly, if you still have coupons from the smoke game, you have less than 10 days to use them. And that's why I have a brand new jersey.
October 31st. You have to use them by then. I used mine like a couple days after that. So
No,
Mine's long gone.
I opened my ticket account and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta use these.
well, that's a fine looking jersey you got there, Greg. Very nice. Couldn't pick a better player either.
The uncrowned MOP.
That's right. Give us a follow on social media at Piffles Pod. I'm at Real Alex D.
And you'll find me at Safamod.
And as always, I do not need nor want your pity follows at Greg on Sports.
And thank you for listening wherever you get your podcasts, watching on YouTube or SaskTel Max TV on demand. We appreciate it. Piffles Podcast, of course, is brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sask Drive here in Regina. We're also proud to be sponsored by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. So the Rider game last week, Greg, we did the post game. Steve, you were at the game. You haven't had a chance to share your thoughts on it, so let's dive into it. Time for the opening kickoff. So the Riders lose a heartbreaker, the worst first place team I've ever seen. Ever.
Awful.
Just the worst. 17-16 to the Bombers. Riders at 12-5. Obviously, we know they have first place clinched. They had that going into this game. So, Steve, we'll get your thoughts right away just because we haven't got them yet. But I do want to say that leading into that game, didn't care if they won or lost. Did not care. Right now, on Tuesday night following the game, don't care that they lost. Really don't. During the game, because they had the lead for so long and could have and should have won that game, I was disappointed and a little bit angry in the postgame that they didn't win. So, Steve, what was your thoughts at the being there at the game with the team losing at the end?
First of all, considering that was a game where the season was effectively on the line for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, that fan base couldn't have cared less for 55 minutes of that game. Like, I'm so used to going Banjo Bowl, and you can't hear yourself think at that game. On Friday night in Winnipeg, I was having conversations with people around me. The guys sitting beside me were watching the Jays game. Like, it was otherworldly. And after the game, when the game ended, and I said this when I tuned in quick on the post game, that was the quietest I've ever left at home stadium after a win. There was no celebration. There was no happiness. There was an understanding that they squeaked by the Riders C team and have no hope in hell of going anywhere in the playoffs. That's what I got out of that fan base. Other than about the 30 seconds after they kicked the game-winning field goal. That was it. There was like a loud cheer, a loud celebration, and then nothing. Silence walking out of the stadium, which is exactly how I like to hear it walking out of Princess Auto Stadium. It reminded me of Banjo Bowl this year because that was the first year where we didn't hear any crap talk all game, and it was the same this week. People around me were great. It was fun. We had a great time. We were laughing. We were Oh, I mean, I was tuning into the Jays game too, but I'm not going to pretend I wasn't. But the thing that stood out to me the most was the fact that Corey May stuck to his game plan. And it was clear that he was going to put guys in and take guys out, and it didn't matter what the score was. He was just, this was a preseason game. And it felt like it for 60 minutes. It was great.
Okay, so we'll go with that with resting the bodies, and obviously Jake Mayer coming out in the fourth quarter to give way to Jack Cohn. Cohn was, other than that 30-yard catch by Mitch Picton, Cohn was not good. That said, you had the B and the C team around you. Logan Ferland was out. Jamarcus Hardrick was out. AJ Ouellette was out. Almost all the starting receivers were out. So it was very much a backup-laden offense. So I'm not going to sit here and complain about Jack Cohn based off that, because you're not really putting him in a fair, situation, especially going up against Winnipeg's ones. So would I have liked to seen more? Absolutely. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say, time to move on from Jack Cohn and he's not going to be part of this team going forward. But do you like that Corey May stuck to it? Maybe Greg answered that one. Do you like that he stuck to it when Mayer, hindsight 2020, but Mayer stays in that game, the Riders probably win it?
Oh, definitely. I think if Mayer stays in that game, they would have won it. Honestly, I think if Lothar didn't miss that field goal, the Riders would have somehow found a way to hang on there. That kind of swung the momentum in the Bombers' way, because other than Vavel, they weren't doing much.
Well, it was the field position there too, right?
Yeah. So like, it actually gave the Bombers a little bit of life that they didn't have. So that Bombers team, like, I had to laugh. Someone posted today the last time the way that the CFL lined up when last time the Jays made the World Series and the Bombers were in the East. I'm like, well, that's ironic. That's the only way they're going to get to the Grey Cup this year too.
Can I say one thing, and you touched on it a little bit? Trey Vavel is unbelievable as a kick returner.
Yep.
Like, seeing him live again and watching how quickly he can flip a field reminds me of, I'm not even sure there's the guy that he reminds me of. He's unstoppable. Every return was 20, 30, 40 yards, given the Bombers good field position that they could do absolutely nothing with. That part was great.
He's Mario like 4 seasons ago. Like, he would pick his hole and hit it and go. And that's what Vavel does. He sees where the hole is and just goes at it full speed, and the blocks are in place.
Yeah, he was the only reason that game was even remotely close for 60 minutes. Because if he's not giving them decent field position, they aren't doing anything.
So the Riders' offense, Jake Mayer, a solid enough game. Was he 15 of 20? Pretty good average there. Only 123 yards. Was a lot of short passes, which they ran such a vanilla offense that they weren't going to show anything except for the very first play.
I was going to say, because after the first play, they went with a little razzle dazzle and got a guy hurt. After that, it's like, whoa, okay, nothing past the 5-yard line, boys.
Yeah, I wonder if that was part of it, was the first play. We've become so accustomed to the team handing the ball off and, run up the A gap for 2-3 yards, whatever, on the first play of the game. They went with a flea flicker in this one. Underthrown ball for sure by probably a good solid 10 yards to Joe Robustelli. Robustelli goes up, comes down, hyperextends his knee from what it looked like. Didn't play the rest of the game, although Corey Mace did say that he was cleared to return, but just erred on the side of caution. That said, take that with a grain of salt. Corey Mace with injuries, not the most believable guy, but you're not going to give your cards out, right?
No, but even if I'm Corey Mays at that point, I am going, okay, no, we're not doing that again. Like,
no,
okay, we dodged. If you're not hurt, we dodged a bullet. Go sit on the bench.
Yep,
Picked in, you're in. That's probably how that conversation went. Like,
game plan for that game should have been one thing and one thing only, and it was stay healthy. That's it. As soon as anybody tweaked anything, put their ass on the bench. They shouldn't even be looking at the field, let alone stepping on it. Send them to the locker room. We saw a couple guys. I'm trying to remember who else went down. There's a couple of times where guys went down, and I just sat there going, not again. Just stay healthy. That's it. That's the only thing that concerned me that entire game. I didn't care about the score. I didn't care about the game itself. Just stay healthy. Get us to November with a full roster.
Thoughts on Jack Cohn?
Awful. Absolutely awful.
Fair enough.
He looked like the guy that is fourth on the depth chart for a reason. Like the reason why he was in this game is because Tommy Stevens has a knee injury. I honestly, the only reason why Trevor Harris was dressed is because Tommy Stevens has a knee injury, or else I'm pretty sure Harris would have stayed undressed. Because
they should have just put Braden Schrager in. Schrager.
Yeah, I don't know what the
Schrager.
Yeah. I don't know what the roster implications would have been on that one, but yeah, it just Cohen hasn't shown me a lot. Yeah, bring him to camp next year, but I'm thinking you're trying to find the next guy.
The problem I have with, and you said it earlier, was that, he was sitting there with the twos and threes. The problem for me was he still wasn't hitting anybody in stride. He wasn't making anything that resembled a good throw. He was just bad. And he didn't seem to have any life to him other than even the one play to Mitch Picton was an underthrown ball that Picton made a great play on. It just, there wasn't anything there that screamed bring him to camp. Honestly, I would have left him in Winnipeg. They seem to like our backups.
Yeah, there you go. But also the problem is though, if he's playing with the twos and threes, he's usually playing with the twos and threes anyway. Like there should be some chemistry there. Like that's the reason why Durant to Getzlaf was so good off early on, is because they were practicing together for as this on the PR.
I'm not ready to write him off yet, but nothing I saw was encouraging that he could be the next guy. Bring him to training camp next year, see what happens. Nothing's guaranteed with him though, is how my take on it.
Considering we have no quarterback under contract next year, it could be interesting.
Well, we've been asked about this a little bit. What is the Riders' succession plan at quarterback? We'll save that for the off season because there is a serious conversation behind that. The too long didn't read version, the very short version, is there isn't one. Yeah. It's basically, and this goes out. Maybe I'll save most of this for later. Was it Luke Mullender when he was on our show earlier in the year when we talked about Canadian talent? He goes, you don't need to draft Canadian talent. Let other people draft and develop them, then sign them as free agents. I honestly think that's the Riders' plan at quarterback.
But looking ahead, that quarterback free agency as of right now, the way it's looking, unless there's a surprise coming, that cupboard's looking fairly bare next year as well. But we can have that conversation.
Yeah, we'll save that for later because that is that we could do an entire show just on the quarterback succession plan.
I'm going to throw this out there as my prediction. I got Zach Caleros right years and years ago. Nick Arbuckle is our starting quarterback next year. Just saying.
Well, it was a good run.
See. Yeah, right? I didn't say I was happy about it, just my expectation.
Okay.
Because we have no idea what this team's succession plan is, and we haven't known what it is. I mean, when you're riding the life of a 41-year-old quarterback.
So help me God, if we win this year and Trevor Harris decides to go in the sun and their succession plan is Nick freaking Arbuckle. So help me God.
Words will be said.
Yes.
Some you can't repeat. Back to the game. The defense was phenomenal. And Greg, we talked about it post game, and we'll reiterate it now as well to AJ Allen, linebacker, absolute stud. Still doesn't get the respect nationally. won't get the respect in the votes for. I mean, granted, Canadian. He'll probably be the Riders Canadian of the year nominee. I wouldn't be surprised by that. A lot of people were saying it was going to be Tavon Campbell. I don't know. I think it might be AJ Allen. Either way, you can't go wrong with either of them. But when you have Rourke, McInnes, and Betts just out in BC alone, yeah, you're probably not getting past those guys for the West nomination. But AJ Allen deserves more praise nationally. And that starts right here. Like, this guy has been incredible this year. And this game was no different. When he had 8 tackles in the first quarter, or in the first half, he was all over the field.
What else do you say about him besides that? He has been that guy all year long. He was that guy last year, and we just didn't notice him because of how good Roland Milligan was.
Well, he wasn't even
just is that good.
He was rotating with CJ Avery a lot,
yep,
as well too, right? So CJ Avery was the starter coming out of camp this year, gets hurt, and AJ Allen takes it over and hasn't looked back. So,
and yeah, Allen is definitely moving up my AA list. It goes Arn Anderson, Allen, and then Alex Anthopoulos. That's the way my AA's are going right now.
Wow, Alex Anthopoulos.
I needed a AA for third, and Alex Anthopoulos was the closest I could get to.
Antoine Brooks Jr.
He's not a AA, but he's on that list too.
He should phenomenal game at Sam linebacker again. And from the way that practice is shaping up for this last week against BC, I know it's only one day into practice, but Brooks obviously going to be the Sam linebacker again. I don't think you can move him out of that spot. I don't care who's healthy in the secondary. I think you need to have Rivas in the secondary, and more on that later where he might potentially line up. But Brooks has to be out there. The way that he's playing I had the stats in front of me earlier.
He had 2 sacks.
Yeah, 2 sacks. He had 2 pass knockdowns as well, 6 tackles.
Yeah,
all over the field. He was absolutely everywhere. And this is a guy that you just can't take out.
We thought when we moved CJ Rivas to safety that we were going to lose something in that linebacking core, and we absolutely haven't. He has been lights out. I mean, he came out with 1 or 2 picks his first game in at linebacker, spelling in for Rivas. So I mean, it's been a welcome change, and him there and getting Rivas into the backfield just makes this team better all around. So it's one of those, we thought we were going to hurt from it, but it may have actually improved this team dramatically.
Well, what this proves is, yes, you got guys in there that could be Swiss Army knives and go anywhere in that backfield. CJ Rivas is one of those. Like, they put Brooks on corner, and we thought, oh my God, what were they thinking? And obviously they were thinking he's a good athlete, but they realized very quickly he's not a corner. So yeah, you move him closer to the ball, and he is playing much better in that position. But yeah, Rivas out in safety, and the only thing that kills me is the ratio. This might be the only time I might fight against the ratio. It's like, do we really need it? But I would still prefer a Canadian back there. But you got Rivas's money back there right now. He reminds me of Tyrone Brackenridge back there. Yeah. Which I am really enjoying.
Yeah, if you have a guy back there that's solidifying everything, making plays, nationality aside, you don't take him out. And one final thing, just to kind of wrap up the game, because I mean there really wasn't a lot in that game. I mean, when you only score 16 points and then you're playing your backups, only so much there is to talk about. But Corey Mace and the decision to rest guys in game as well too. I thought it was brilliant to take out Jameer Thurman in the second half, Tavon Campbell as well too. Steve, what did you think about just the in game to take guys out and let Jaden Dalkey, and we saw Nafis Lyon get into corner as well too.
The one thing I'll say as somebody that was sitting in the stands watching this game with, again, not a lot of not interest in the game, but not as much of a, I don't know the word for it. Doesn't matter.
Care.
It was care. Yeah. Like I was just watching a game. It was like in years past where I would go to, a Calgary Edmonton game or a Toronto Ottawa game. I was just there to watch football. You didn't notice those in-game changes as much as I thought I would. And to me, that's a testament to the coaching staff and where they have put guys and how well they have these guys prepped that they can just step in and you don't really see that drop off. Yes, obviously at the end of the fourth quarter, Winnipeg got going when we were playing effectively our entire second string unit, and that's fine. But over the course of the game, you just didn't notice those changes. They didn't seem to affect the roster as much as I would have expected. Again, this is Winnipeg's number one team that put up 17 points against the Riders' backups.
But here's the thing, though. Is this an aspect of our coaches and our players being that much better, being put in the right positions, or is just Winnipeg just really, really bad right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I honestly think that game said more about Winnipeg than it did about the Riders.
The fact that, and here's the funny thing is, I was listening to a lot of the stuff coming out of Winnipeg after the game, and all it was is, well, Zach's missing Nick Dembski. Your best player is still Brady Oliveira, and you guys, once again, and I said this on the live stream after, I hope Jason Hogan is the Bombers' offensive coordinator for perpetuity.
Forever.
Give him a lifetime contract.
You should hear the things in stadium. They were yelling about him. The guy beside me was incensed at basically every play call. Everybody around me, anytime Brady touched the ball, they would yell out, "Look, he can do good with it. Give him the ball." It was phenomenal to see that. As a Rider fan who just lived through the Craig Dickinson era, it was really nice to sit and see somebody else's coach get crapped on by their own fans. And deservedly so. He's been horrible. But I hope he signs a long-term contract, like you said.
To me, it just blows my mind. The guy was the run game, like the running backs coach, and now he forgets there's running backs. Literally the best running back in the league, regardless of passport. And they just, Nick Dembski's our go-to guy. Like, come on.
It feels like you're out coaching yourself at that point because you think, okay, well, especially with Dembski out, everybody's going to key on Brady Oliveira. So let's not give it to him and catch them off guard. But
and
you're
don't
out
get me
coaching
wrong.
yourself when you should be doing the KISS strategy. Keep it simple, stupid.
And don't get me wrong. Like, they were trying to make Gavin Cobb look like he was a Timu Nick Dembski, and it was working for a little bit, but I had to laugh, though, because they talked to Brady at the halftime coming out of the break, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, this is a low-scoring game. This is bully ball time." He didn't get the ball much in the second half.
Yep.
But you notice what happened in the fourth quarter when they started giving him the ball. Even though we knew they were going to run him down our throats, he still got 4, 5, 6 yards a run. Everybody else but their offensive coordinator can see what he can do. They just seem to he just doesn't seem to care.
Saving it for the playoffs.
Yeah. Good luck against Hamilton or Montreal if you can't beat our backups or barely beat our backups.
They're going to go to Montreal.
No, they're not.
Okay, they're going to go to Hamilton
Yes,
and
they are.
lose.
Yep.
Regardless.
Yeah,
Alex wants his money.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get to that in a little bit. Coming out of that game, DeMarcus Fields was named to the CFL's honor roll for defensive back, which probably came out of a surprise to a lot of Rider fans because he's been the whipping boy of this secondary, at least anyway, online. He takes a lot of flack from fans. Is it warranted? Because I don't think it is.
It's a lot of little brother syndrome out there, I think, because you're not going to get mad at Milligan. Devon Campbell's having a hell of a season. Like, you're not going after CJ Revis. Like, who else are you going to complain about on the defense?
Right?
Yeah, like, who else are you going to complain about in that defensive backfield?
I have no issues with DeMarcus Fields out there. I think he's been pretty solid most of the year. Honor roll, well deserved.
Yeah.
What do you have in this game?
Where is it? I got it too.
He had the interception.
Yes, he did.
And two
Interception,
special teams
two tackles.
and 2 tackles. But
Yeah. Sheldrick Redwine looked good back there. 3 tackles. Like he made a lot of good plays. So,
yeah, these DBs, Benny Sapp that they're putting in there.
decent game.
Lyon coming in, just his second game after being picked up by the team. Like these are guys that might be serious contributors in the playoffs here. So getting them these snaps is absolutely huge right now, and showing that they can come in and understand the assignments and have a pretty solid game, honestly. It's very encouraging going into this game against BC and with whoever we're going to see in the defensive backfield in the West Finals. So
even a guy like Jaden Dahlke had a good game when he got in there. And actually, I had Coach Lennon was on the Sports Cage this week, and he was actually talking about Dahlke is one of those guys where apparently he's a film hound. Apparently, he's in there talking to guys and watching film all the time. So
Jordan Lennon, I'll set this aside. Coach Jordan Lennon, he's a defensive assistant on the Sports Cage that he was on earlier this week on the coaches show. Said that he's like
EA. Are you talking
EA
about
Sports. He's
motion
like
capture?
a Madden motion guy. So they put the sensors and lights on him on the suit that he's wearing, and he's like that sensor motion guy for
taking
Madden.
tackles and
Yeah. I want to ask him. That sounds like it's pretty cool. I want to get into that with him one time. That's pretty sweet.
He's a guy we absolutely need to have on the show.
Former junior guy,
Mhm.
played for the Langley Rams, who are really bad this year.
One last Rider piece of news here on the opening kickoff. They did sign another receiver, Sayosai Mariner, and a really great post by the social media team saying there is one Mariner still playing ball.
That had to be something. Tells me Ariel Zer had something to do with that post. I hope she did.
She is the Riders head of communication. She is a huge Blue Jays fan.
Huge.
She's probably, I know she's going to be working this Rider game, but she might be trying to get out to Toronto on Saturday for game 2. I wouldn't be surprised if she's like, our other intern or whoever else can handle it for this game.
Craig,
He was definitely trying to get
Jeremy, I gotta be somewhere.
I think
calling in sick.
I think a lot of us are trying to figure out a way where we can not pay attention to this game and watch the Jays game on Saturday.
They should just put it on the Maxtron while the game plays. Don't even worry about replays.
Put it up in the corner. Absolutely. Bottom line, don't care that the Riders lose. That's whatever. That's the opening kickoff presented by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level. Time to remember that guy, sponsored by District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience. Player from the past, the who's who and who's that of Rider Nation, as Greg calls it. You're going to give us some hints, and we got to try and guess that former Rider. So it's time to remember that guy. How many Van Stones is this one, Greg?
I'm throwing this to 3 or 4. I got to admit, I learned a lot about this guy that I did not know while figuring this out. So
Okay.
Alumnus.
Dennis Guile.
No, it's not Dennis Guile. Unless he went to Laval, where he's an alumnus of the Rouge Or. Sorry,
It's never going to be Dennis Guile.
Yeah, I kind of went the Rouge. I kind of Rouge Or, and he won 2 Vanier Cups. Diagnosed with cancer while at Laval, causing him to miss 2 playoff games. Came back the next season, was the winner of the JP Metris Award, which we've already discussed, which is given to the U Sports Best Down Lineman. Drafted 23rd overall in the CFL draft.
So that's what, 3rd round?
Yeah. 2-time Grey Cup champion, but had 11 years between wins.
Oh, I remember hearing about that.
Was a Bomber twice, an
Yeah.
Alouette, and also an Argonaut twice.
I should
Not
know this. I've heard
Ricky
this.
Foley, is it?
Nope. One of the meanest SOBs to ever lace it up.
I'm drawing a blank here.
And if you're Rob Vanstone right now, you're probably screaming Dominic Picard.
Right.
Hmm.
Had no idea that he was diagnosed with cancer before
Neither did I.
college.
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah, no, he in 2004, he was diagnosed with cancer, so he ended up missing the playoffs, and he came back the next season and was the winner of the Best Lineman Award. And then he was drafted 23rd overall in the CFL draft by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
And then, two-time Grey Cup champion, 2013 with us,
Yep.
and 2024 with the Toronto Argonauts as a coach.
Cool.
I can't believe he's a running backs coach.
Is that what he is?
That's what he is.
I
He's
guess
a running backs
he would
coach.
know blocking schemes and everything.
I
And
guess.
basically, it's just like, okay, bro, we're gonna block this way, so
Yeah.
just run through that gap.
And one of the meanest players when he was on the field.
Oh, that was one of those ultimate. And I remember seeing Rider fans forum after they signed him. That's one of those ultimate. You hate
him when he's not with you, but love him when he's with you. Yeah,
Dwight Anderson.
that too. Yep.
Yeah.
Same time frame.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. That 2013 team, they had some guys on that O line. Xavier Fulton out there. He was not a mean SOB. He was a gentle giant, but man, that guy could hold him down out there at left tackle. Dominic Picard, obviously, Chris Best. He was one of those just tough guys that you had to play against.
That offensive lineman, you had Dominic Picard, Pat Neufeld, Brendan Labatt, Ben Heenan, Xavier Fulton, Dan Clark. Jeez.
Some tough guys. Those are some tough guys.
If I walk into a bar fight, I want those guys behind me.
I wish I had a better, a good story for Dominic Picard, but I don't, unfortunately.
No, you're not going to have a good story for all these guys.
Nope.
It's too hard.
Apparently not. There you go. Dominic Picard. Remember that guy. Sponsored by District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tech Experience. Hopefully we got someone on the O-line this year that elevates their game to that kind of play in the postseason, can be the kind of that mean, nasty dude. Maybe that's like Jacob Brammer.
You got the French Canadian one, Gagnon, maybe.
I don't see him as a nasty dude, but
I don't see him as a nasty dude either. I think Logan Ferland's not going to be the nasty guy, but he's going to be your hard worker, farm guy. And that's one thing about, and we talked about this on the live show. The drop down between Ferland and Knoll was a big thing because Ferland knows the call out, and then I think a lot of Mayers and maybe Cohn's problem too was the fact that offensive line didn't have the same communication, same knowledge that it usually has with Yoshi and Ferland being out. So,
okay, well, let's move to the Churchill Brewing Company odds and end zones. Look around the league. We got to talk about the Grey Cup and everything around it. So let's do the halftime show. That was announced on what day was it? Thursday last week?
I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever it was. Not in a million years would I
Never would have
guessed Machine Gun Kelly, MGK, was going to be the halftime headliner. Never in my wildest dreams I would have guessed that.
Well, so it's the league announced that big news was coming on E-Talk Daily. So all of a sudden rumors started flying. And when the rumor came out, I was like, Machine Gun Kelly? Okay. So I'm like, so I Googled it. And I'm like, he's playing the Warp Tour that weekend. So what the hell? So I'm assuming he's playing that means he's playing Saturday because the Warp Tour is on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, flying
but
out.
Still, that's not like typically you want the act in the day before to at least do sound check and some rehearsal to make sure everything is okay.
Maybe the Warped
That's
Tour is his rehearsal.
ooh, like there's a lot that can go wrong if travel delays, technical delays. Obviously, they're probably not doing much of a show then. It's just going to be him playing, which is
So
good,
it's not much
I
of a
guess.
show.
Yeah. This seems almost as bad as announcing half a Florida Georgia line a month before the show started, a month before the game. This does not feel like this was well planned or someone backed out last minute.
There's no chance Machine Gun Kelly was their first choice. There is not a chance that was their first choice. I'm guessing this is, again, like you said, this is like our Grey Cup in Regina, where they went down the list and went, oh crap, it's a month out. Who are we going with? And somebody threw this name out there. It's not a bad choice. It's somebody that'll at least attract some of that younger demographic, and it sure as heck isn't attracting the 30 to 50 demo. This is your teens and 20s, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I've been one of those guys who I like to crap on the halftime show because it's not my music, and they'll never top Green Day. Green Day was phenomenal. But I just don't see Machine Gun Kelly moving the needle in any direction. I just don't. It doesn't work with me. But
Honestly, I think they like Our Lady Peace is playing the beginning of the show. I'm surprised they just didn't roll with Our Lady Peace at that point. Because like I said, he's double booked that weekend. There's a lot that can go wrong. Like, I don't understand how you can double book someone that weekend.
You actually joked about a month ago.
Yeah,
when you're talking in our DM chat about how they haven't announced the Grey Cup halftime show yet. You're like, Rain Maida and Chantel Kreviazek.
She's a winner. She's a Winnipeg girl.
Yeah,
and they're married. So why not?
So
you were half right.
You're well.
Do I get a half a ding for that?
Quarter right. They're playing there, but not at halftime, right? First thing I thought of when I saw this, I'm like, the guy that had his career ruined by Eminem, the rapper,
right?
His rap career anyway, got absolutely bodied in a diss track. Like he was, before Drake and Kendrick, it was Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly, and that lasted one diss track from Eminem. So,
well, and I had to laugh too. It's like, okay, so we didn't get the Kendrick diss track guy, but we got the Eminem diss track guy. So I guess that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I don't hate the pick. I really don't.
I don't hate it. Like
MGK's
bad.
Rock and foray into pop rock and whatever he's doing now.
Punk pop or pop
or whatever they call it. I mean, it does nothing for me. I don't care. But at the same time, I know they're not marketing to me. Yeah. They know I'm going to tune into the Grey Cup. I'm going to have halftime on. I'll pay attention to it, but I'm not going to be invested into it like I normally am for something like a Green Day, right? Of course, growing up in that 90s generation. But I'm kind of with Steve. I don't think it's really going to move the needle that much. I don't think the younger generation, the 20-year-olds that they want to try and capitalize on, are going to tune in for it. For a 15-minute MGK show, I don't see that being a thing. I think they'll get a ton of impressions on it on YouTube, but I don't think it's going to bring in value, dollar amounts out of it.
Well, and I honestly think this is, once again, and like we're doing conspiracy theory helping the CFL on this one. I honestly think this is not their first, third, or even third choice. Considering how late this was announced yet again, like last year, Jonas Brothers, like before the season even started, we knew who the opening act was.
Put Amar Doman in charge of anything that's concert related.
Yeah. Sure, we're going to get Snoop Dogg for like the third time, but I don't care. But the fact that you go from the Jonas Brothers way before the season started to the fact that everyone's like, they still haven't announced the Grey Cup and we're like a month out. like it just reminded me of the Grey Cup here because I really think they have trouble despite both Winnipeg and Regina being the meccas of the nicest stadiums and the
Who wants to go there in the middle of November?
well exactly like
it's set in the cold.
like I'm sure they asked Chantal Kraviachuk and she's like, no, I'm not going to Winnipeg. I'm from there. No way.
No better than that.
Yeah. Are you ridiculous? No.
But ultimately, like whatever. It's name recognition, so good on the league for that. I do appreciate that. It's not my thing, but whatever. I don't care. They're not marketing to
At
me.
least,
Honestly, they're not marketing to anybody that's watching this show or listening to it.
no, but the thing is, I'm glad. Like, despite the fact this feels rushed, the same as the Regina one was a couple seasons ago, but at least I don't have people trying to go, well, the guy that half of Florida Georgia line was, they had some hits, and I'm like, yeah, okay, it's still half the guy. Well, yeah, but this other guy, he's an up and comer, and the other guy's a Canadian guy, so like they were trying to sell me on it. And I'm like, no one cares who any of the three of these guys are. No one cares.
Thank you for bringing up the Canadian part of it. That's a big topic of the discussion around this as well. Do you feel this is a missed opportunity to have a Canadian act by the CFL in these political landscapes that we've seen over the last year and a half?
If the Jays win the World Series, no one's going to care. Are they going to tear off the World Series trophy? That's what I want to know. But seriously,
We'll visit the White House if the Jays win.
yeah,
They won't be allowed in.
no, they won't be. Here's the thing. I understand. I do and I don't. I kind of get everyone's, and this has always been a thing, even before the political thing. The CFL halftime act has to be a Canadian artist. I remember when the Black Eyed Peas were signed to do the Grey Cup, and everyone lost their mind because it wasn't a Canadian act for the first time in a very long time. It doesn't need to be a Canadian act. I kind of get the entire talking point of it, but who are you going to get? Like I said, if they would have rolled Our Lady Peace in there, would anyone be happier because it was a Canadian act?
I was half expecting Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman. I really kind of expected it.
My first joke when he talked daily, when they said watch he talk daily, I'm like, when's the last time BTO was on he talk daily? That's what I was half expecting as well. I understand the Canadiana of it, and don't get me wrong, I'm full blown in. I don't see myself going to the United States unless I absolutely have to for at least another 3 years. But the fact remains is it's a game, it's a halftime show. Who cares? Enjoy the football game. Enjoy your 55-yard line while you can, guys.
You only get 2 more Grey Cups with it.
Here's my take on it. If you want to grow the game, and that is the purpose of your halftime show, is to get more eyeballs to the game, then you pick the biggest name available. You get somebody that will get eyeballs on the screens, whether it's for the game or for halftime. And I don't care if that person is American, Canadian, from Timbuktu. It does not matter. If they are a global star, right? But if they're a global star and they will bring that media attention, that's the purpose of your halftime show. And this idea that it has to be somebody Canadian is absurd at this point. I appreciate that we have a lot of quality Canadian entertainment talent out there. But if you can get somebody like we had Keith Urban a few years back, that was a huge name at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Green Day, huge name. What's their names? Oh God, it doesn't matter. They've had some of these big names. Clearly, they're not that.
Imagine Dragons.
Thank you. I thought they did
that
the
was what
BC
you were looking
home
for?
opener.
Hollow Boy.
Yeah, right. Like these
Headley?
are names that were big at the time. And Headley is a prime example of why you don't just pick the Canadian guys. The halftime show was the finest of halftime shows. The only thing people remember was the flipping snowmobiles.
Yep.
That's it.
And you're not trying to cover a curse. They were literally flipping snowmobiles.
Right? Like, Give me the big name. Give me the star. Do you think the Super Bowl cares where their person? Well, I mean, right now they do,
Well,
and they're so
the NFL,
they're so bad
the
about
NFL doesn't care.
That's a whole different
It's a lot of the reasons
Yeah,
why we're
that's-
talking about not going to the States. Care that he's going to be singing Spanish.
it. No, just give me a big name. Make it a show. Get people.
Should have got Bad Bunny. That's what the CFL should have done. Got Bad
Oh.
Bunny too.
See,
That'd be
and
great.
Steve, I'm with you. I don't care, Canadian or American act. Get the biggest one you possibly can. That's ultimately, to me, what matters. I do agree with the whole landscape and wanting to, gear towards that. But I will tell you this. The CFL, and we've seen this from the rule changes that were announced, they clearly do not care about tapping into that whole Canadiana thing.
They're looking
Whole
for
season, even before then, they have not cared about tapping into what makes this game uniquely Canadian. That's not what they're marketing. They don't care about that. What I honestly believe is that they've realized they've tapped the Canadian market. They have as many Canadian fans as they're ever going to have. And hey, maybe we can get a slightly better if we start getting some fresh eyes down in the States because we're bringing in MGK or whatever, or, our field is smaller and can fit into literally any stadium now and we can move games around wherever we want. Well, maybe there's a better TV deal down in the States that we can get.
I'm going to push.
You're not getting a better TV deal in Canada.
No,
Not
you're
much
not.
anyway.
You're right on that, but I'm going to push back just a little. I don't think it's necessarily about the American fan, and it's not about the Canadian fan. It's the accessible fan. There are people that have avoided the CFL because the NFL is the biggest dog in town. They play Madden. Like these are your Madden, young played Madden growing up, and then they understand the game better that way. They're trying to tap into that lost fan that skews NFL. Yes, Americanized football heavy. I don't think it's necessarily, it doesn't matter if it's Canadian or American. They will gladly take any Canadian that only watches NFL. Because I know I am sick of hearing about any time the CFL season started. Oh, real football doesn't start till October anyway. I'm so tired of hearing that.
I just feel like they've lost their chance with the younger crowd with NFL flag football.
Oh, 100%.
The CFL had that before and they lost that market. Yep. And they've clearly done nothing to try and get back into it.
And we've talked about that before. That was a failure of leadership to seed that market. Like they had a partnership going with the NFL. It was at one point it was the CFL NFL flag football.
Mm-hmm.
And then the CFL was like, yeah, we don't have the money to put into that. If you want to do it, go ahead. We don't care.
Yeah, okay, cool, easy merch sale.
Massive miss on the CFL leadership part. But when you're counting pennies to make sure the lights stay on, and let's face it, they're pointing this league's history. There's been a lot of that. Like the reason why I will always say the U.S. expansion was a success. It's because it kept the lights on. Yep. Those expansion fees kept the league going. Because if it didn't, God bless the Shreveport Pirates, because without them, this league might not exist.
And it prevented the Calgary Stampeders from a Grey Cup, so that's all right too.
Anytime that happens is a good time that happens.
Thank you, Baltimore.
Not going to get into the Grey Cup party passes. That was just a disaster from the get-go. And again,
one quick thing.
Maybe we will.
What were they thinking?
So
they weren't.
Yes.
If you bought Grey Cup tickets before, you got an email after saying you could buy the 3-day party pass, which included the concert series. So I forget I know the Reclaws are playing one of them. I don't know who. Alan Doyle might be one of them as well too.
Sounds familiar. Yeah, probably.
So what they did was that, okay, whatever the capacity for those concert, whatever they're allowed by regulations to have in that building, fire code, in that building, wherever those concerts are, that's how many passes they sold. So there was none.
Problem. That has to be a small venue that all these parties are in.
But these rooms the party rooms are in different rooms as well too. Not everyone's literally going to be at the concerts. They want to go to Riderville. They want to go to, what is it, BC and Spirit of Edmonton are joining up this year.
Touchdown, whatever.
So, and there's the Eastern one without Montreal, has all the Ontario teams, I think. That was the biggest miss on this. Not that the fact that they didn't sell tickets and then eventually backtrack because people called them out on it and bombarded the committee and ticket master, the ticket office in Winnipeg about
never piss off CFL fans, Ticketmaster. Just don't do it.
Yeah, especially when they just want to go get drunk at a party. They could have sold. I mean, obviously for the concerts, you can only let X amount of people in. In the rooms, you can only let X amount of people in. I get that, but people will bounce from room to room. Yeah. Oh, Riderville's closed. Okay, well, we'll go to BC. Yep. We'll go to Winnipeg's room. Whatever. They'll bounce around. They'll find somewhere else to go. You limit absolutely how many of the concert tickets you sell, but you should still have that option. And they completely didn't have that option to just buy a 3-day pass or a single-day pass until last week.
How, like,
just a mess. Like, I don't know how they didn't think that through. Like, it's such an easy thing to do, and they just completely just skipped over it.
It blows my mind that how, like, they've been doing this for years. Like, I've been anytime the Grey Cup has been in Regina, I've gone. So I went in 2003. Like, I remember, like, flat out into the Big Top when they tented in Scar Street. Mm-hmm. I've been to the Cooperators when we had it there. The fact that it's run semi-normal everywhere else until this year, Winnipeg decided to go, oh, well, I guess we're just doing this. Like, why reinvent the wheel? I don't understand it.
It's pretty simple it's pretty clear to me that this committee of people that put this Grey Cup festival together has never been to a Grey Cup in their lives. Since 2013, it's been consistent. There has been a party pass for the weekend. All of the events are held in one big space, and you just literally just sell tickets, have booze, people will show up. You can't ask for a simpler setup than what Grey Cup has been for the last 12 years. And for them to try and flip it to make these concerts more of a big deal, which I appreciate, they're bringing in some pretty solid names because Brad Paisley, Alan Doyle.
There is no Jenna and Stu bashing here on this show.
I said, it's as much as you get out of me. Complete lack of
fast track
care.
To get out of the show, Steve.
That's fine. I can live with that.
If you were going to do it, I was.
I was going to say, if I go down to the rec clause, then that's a mountain I'm willing to die on. But for them to take such a simple process and try and make it complicated like they have is absurd. And the people that they pissed off is the market the CFL cannot afford to lose at this point.
Yeah, literally everybody that's
diehards
buying stuff.
Like, these are the ones that you need to keep and then grow.
Well, and here's the thing. It's good that apparently a lot of the original tickets were sold locally, which means you still have a excited fan base despite the fact the Bombers suck. But when you are ticking off the people that are coming to your city to spend money everywhere, that's not
a lot of people that just don't want to travel and fly and get hotels and spend thousands of dollars on accommodations to just go sit in a bar. A lot of people don't want that. They'd like to go to the rooms and see everybody they see every once a year.
Exactly, their extended family, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Grey Cup is just a giant family reunion.
Yeah, it's very true.
And in what? No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm like, nope, not good. Want it? Say it offline. Not gonna do it here.
Like a regular Saturday night in the summer
in Winnipeg.
Yeah. One final thing in the odds and end zones we got to get to: the Regina Thunder. Smoked the Huskies last week. Had good weather. The Wiener Dog races went off.
Yeah, they did.
And of course, like we all kind of figured, the Hilltops won as well against the Winnipeg Rifles. So that sets up at Mosaic Stadium.
Hilltops and Thunder.
Hilltops Thunder. which is coming up on Sunday,
1:00.
1:00.
Mosaic Stadium. And I don't care if you're a stinking Hilltops fan. Come on down. It's going to be a good game. It's these two basically tied. 1-1. Both beat each other by 3 points. It's going to be a barn burner. And it should be fun. They're calling for good weather. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous. I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun game.
When was the last time the PFC title game wasn't Saskatoon Regina?
20. Actually, I was talking about this the other day, or tonight actually. 20. The Huskies actually surprised the Thunder. 2019 or 2021. It was either before the pandemic or the game immediately after the pandemic. Huskies came to town and squeaked one out, and then got destroyed by the Hilltops the following week.
But I mean, since then, though, the Thunder and Hilltops have been so evenly matched.
Yeah.
These games that they've had, especially the last 2 seasons, the 3-point games this year, the last year, with was it last year when Maximuik hit that big long field goal?
No, that was 2 seasons
years ago?
ago in
Saskatoon.
Saskatoon. 50, yeah, the 52-yarder to win the game.
Yeah, like these games that they've had over the last few years have been, I mean, honestly, it's a coin flip most times between who's going to win these games. Regina's done a very good job over the last few years of narrowing that gap and, you know, kind of passing them, but they're still so, like, they're right there. Those two teams.
If Vegas had to break this down, and I understand I'm on the board, so I'm probably a little biased. I think the the Thunder going in, it's probably a 2.5 point favorite at this point.
Yeah.
And that's because of home field. Like you look at these two rosters, and both of them have 1,000-yard rushers. Both of them got a strong defense.
1,000-yard rushers, but the Thunder did it in one game.
Well, that's 632 yards we put up against the Wildcats.
That helps.
Not last week, but the week before is probably going to stay there for a long time. But there's no secrets between these two teams. Like there's going to be some wrinkles. They're going to. It usually comes. There's usually at least 1 or 2 trick plays because that's something you got to do just to get an advantage on the other team. Like throw something they haven't seen before in film. So I'm confident, but I'm not playing, and I'm nervous as hell. Like I'm almost queasy thinking about this game on Sunday, because the winner of this game hosts the national championship, and that's coming down between the Okanagan Sun and the St. Clair Saints, who was the national championship game last year.
Mm-hmm.
So the next 2 games, no matter who it is, if it's us and the Hilltops or the Hilltops and the winner of that game out of the national semifinal, both games are going to be absolute barn burners of games. And I hope it's at Mosaic, and I cannot wait for either one.
So Sunday, Mosaic Stadium, go to the Rider game on Saturday, and then go back there on Sunday afternoon to see the Thunder and the Hilltops. Speaking of the Riders and Lions on Saturday night, it's time for our enemy preview presented by Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas, Saturday, 5 p.m. We'll run down the very first day. I mean, I can't go through the entire Riders.
Who did practice? Who did practice?
List. Yeah, this is one of those. And you know, this is funny. So Ivan Gutfriend, former athletic trainer of the Riders, he's a legend. How long was you with them? 40 years, 35 years, something like that. I see him every once in a while at work. And today he was talking to one of the other ladies at work, and she asked him, were you mad about them losing against against Winnipeg this last week? And he was like, no, if there was a game to do what they did and rest everybody and not care, that was the game. Because you don't want to go into the playoffs like this last game and against BC and rest your guys then and not have, then you have the bye after. Yeah. That was the game to do it. Let everybody sit the Winnipeg game, bring a few guys back for the BC game, play them a little bit, not the full game. And then, you're all hands on deck after, right? So that's coming from an athletic trainer who kind of knows. I think he knows what he's talking about, right?
Yeah, he might know a thing or two about a thing or two. Yeah.
But he's still invested in the team, and I love hearing that from him. Chat with him about football every couple of weeks, so that's always fun. But we're going to see more guys rested. So the big names, obviously, people are talking about. Nelson Lacombo and Jackson Ford both were full participants, listed as full participants in Tuesday's practice. Jackson Ford and Lacombo at safety, possibly for this one, because Devon Campbell was with the twos. I think that's just more of a vet thing. Sorry, Campbell, actually, they slid him into halfback. They put CJ Rivas at cornerback. Sales sat out with the ankle injury. Roland Milligan with his knee injury that they're listing obviously we're probably not going to see him again this week.
Not to play.
So it was Lacombo was at safety, Rivas at cornerback, Redwine and Leon kind of split at the other corner, Campbell at halfback, and Benny Sapp at halfback. So they're moving guys around. And I don't hate this in the secondary because now you're getting a chance to see where these guys can excel. And yeah, ideally you get your, your Milligan and your Sales back for the playoffs, and you have Rivas where you can basically plug wherever in that secondary. And then you have Campbell in there as well too, so you don't have to worry about the ratio. You get a guy like Lacombo back possibly to, be at safety and keep Rivas back there somewhere. There's a lot of flexibility, and I think that's the important thing for them is having that flexibility between these guys to play different positions and have them all ready just in case.
My thing is, I'm not so concerned about guys sitting out on the defensive side of the ball. The offense is more of one of those things where you always want to keep your timing up, especially Trevor Harris is a timing quarterback. So you want him to get that rhythm with his receivers. These guys on the defense, they've played together so long early in the season when there wasn't injuries, when we had a full healthy squad, that I am certain it's going to take them, like, at worst, one series to get back to where they need to be and back in communication. So I am not as concerned as the defensive side as I would be on the offensive side about getting reps in.
I'm with you, Alex. I love the idea of them moving guys around and giving them looks at other positions, because if you're going to roster maybe 6-7 DBs at most, injuries happen. And it's nice to know if Devon Campbell gets hurt, knock on wood, we can see what a guy like Redwine or Benny Sapp has in his space if he needs to step in, rather than just moving guys around ad hoc because you've got no choice. This is the game, again, to give those looks at least a little bit of a shot to see what they've got. It's still effectively a preseason game. Yes, you want to ramp up as the playoffs get there, so you can't take it easy completely, but this is the chance to give those looks and take those looks and see what you've got and let other guys get healthy. We don't know what's wrong with Roland Milligan. He's been out, 3 weeks now? 2 weeks? And we've heard nothing. And you're seeing a lot of that on the offensive side of the ball too. So it's just that, it's all about getting healthy and putting a decent team out there.
And I know we're saying that it's like another preseason game, obviously, where basically the results don't matter, right? That's what we mean by it. But
yeah,
with how last week went, obviously they were up against the number ones in Winnipeg, minus one receiver, right? They're going to be up against, presumably for at least a half, the ones against BC as well. So it's not like they're playing against a bunch of scrubs, right? Because of how this week shakes down. BC will fly out on Friday. They're going to have to bring their starters, but I bet you a lot of them are going to be listed as game time decisions, like Rourke and Keon Hatcher and Matthew.
Oh, 100%. It's going to depend on what Calgary does.
Yeah. So what they do on Saturday is totally dependent on what Calgary does against Edmonton on Friday. Calgary wins that, BC needs to play their starters to win. Because if they don't, well, maybe Winnipeg, the game before we play, beats Montreal, and all of a sudden BC's possibly looking at third place. So, or actually, I think they can cross over.
They can follow. They can cross over.
They can cross over.
in that
They-
spot.
The only certainty is Winnipeg cannot
It's on
take
the road.
second.
Yeah, Winnipeg
they're
can't
on
take
the
second.
road.
That's the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, since this is the last game of the season, right? The final one of the weekend as well. BC is going to bring their guys. And since rosters are so small in the CFL, you can't sit them all.
Nope.
So they're going to have to play starters in the second half as well, too. Whereas we kind of have that luxury where we can just put guys out for the game, and it doesn't matter win or lose what happens in the standings for us. So we have that advantage in this one over BC. We're not.
I am
looking to
so
see what
glad
other
we
teams
don't
are
need to
doing.
worry about a wind gust in Montreal to decide our fate.
Yeah, that's nice going into this one. So coming full circle here, that secondary they're going to be going up against probably Keon Hatcher, Justin McInnes, Javon Catoy, Barry Hill's having a good year as well too. They're, I mean, BC's got some studs, and you're going to get up against probably the MOP winner in Nathan Rourke. So this is great experience for the young guys, like a Red Wine, Red Wine's got lots of NFL experience, but new to the Canadian game. Red Wine, Benny Sapp,
Yeah.
right? Like this is very meaningful to them and get them ready for the playoffs just in case. So because it's huge in their development, so it's very important, at least on the defense. I think we'll see guys like Thurman do basically the same thing that we saw last week, play the first half, sit out the second half. Probably same thing with Campbell. The D-line could be, maybe you play Micah Johnson this week and you sit Mike Rose, or you rest him in the second half or whatever. I don't know how they're going to approach that, but I'm sure that there's a plan for that, and we'll see a lot of the rotational guys get the majority of snaps in this one. And then on offense, Trevor Harris back with the ones, so obviously he's going to come in, probably play a half. I can't imagine, unless something bad happens, then you take him out right away. If the O-line doesn't hold up in the first series, yank him. Don't care. Get him out of there.
Yep.
If they're not playing that well. But they do have Logan Ferland and Jamarcus Hardrick back for this one, and the typical starting O-line is back. AJ,
And they still have Edwin Harrison.
Yeah, so it's just main thing is keep Harris healthy in this one. Yeah, you want to keep that timing. And day one of practice here was no Sam Amelis. He was with the twos, so more load management than anything here. But no Keyshawn Johnson, no Dante Myers. Now, Corey Mace did say that they're on track to be ready for the 8th. But again, take Corey Mace's words on injury for what they are with a grain of salt. I'm a little bit worried about that going into the playoffs.
I am and I'm not. Like, don't get me wrong. Would I prefer Myers and Johnson on the roster? Of course I would. I'd be stupid to say I don't care who's there. But I think we've proven that we've got enough depth at receiver that while it is a step back, they've got the guys that can win games.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I would prefer them in the roster come that West final.
The problem with your depth topic is you're also having to look at Joe Robustelli, who until he steps back on the field, I don't trust that he's good to go. That looked pretty bad. That was a hyperextended knee. You never like to see that. And when you're getting into the playoffs, guys now missing 2, 3, 4 games. Tommy Stevens, when was the last time we saw him on the field? I realize as a short yardage guy, it's not as big of a deal for him to just step back in. He could probably jump back in and into that spot instantly, but he needs to be there. And the short yardage game has struggled without him there.
They're still getting the job done, but it's not with as much ease as it was with Tommy, right?
You're not putting your feet up and relaxing to see it happen.
No, I guarantee you once I don't say these games don't count, but once the games count again, I guarantee you a guy that's 75% or higher is in the game. Like I or 50% at that point. I think Tommy Stevens can limp for a first down. They're going to put him in there.
But the problem is we don't know anything about his
no.
injury. AJ's fine, but Keyshawn, Dante, and then you look at the defensive side of the ball with Roland Milligan, who you haven't heard a peep about since his injury, and that also looked less than ideal. You know, you never like to see knee injuries, so it's concerning that we're now this late in the season and you're seeing some of these guys missing 3-4 weeks with no notice, like no update, no practice, and you don't know if they're good to go or not because they're not going to throw them on the 6th game with 4 games left because it doesn't do anything.
I'm literally, I don't know, maybe it's because I've become King Homer somehow, wrestling the crown from you, but I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned. I think this is a lot of trying to keep guys healthy. I don't think it's a fact that these injuries are as bad as we can fear. They don't need, like, and yes, you want guys to play, but I don't think we needed them as proven by our record. Like our twos
take their time here.
Yeah, like our twos, like we secured first place. It doesn't matter if we win or lose or tie at this point. Our second stringers went into Winnipeg against their ones, minus Nick Dembski, who apparently is the straw that stirs the drink there, and almost walked out with a win. So at this point, they're just playing for legacy. So you want everyone healthy come the West Final. I think it's going to be all hands on deck no matter what.
I'd agree wholeheartedly, and it absolutely should be. It's just, unlike you, I've turned into the opposite. I've turned into the eternal pessimist. I've watched this show over and over again all my life where it doesn't matter how good things look. They always find a way to, crush her. It's the hope that kills you, right?
Is that pessimism or is that just realism?
Is that being a Rider? Being a Rider fan for decades.
Just because the truth sucks doesn't make it any less of the truth.
Right? Yeah.
So really quick, fair to say that we're all in agreement. What are you looking for out of this game? No injuries.
Stay healthy.
Does
bubble wrap
matter?
I'm looking for someone to win a car. I'm looking for
someone will. Yep.
Yeah, a bunch of Vegas themed stuff.
There's an Elvis lookalike contest.
There you go.
Hosted by Rory Allen.
Hey.
Yeah.
Neat. Rory Allen. Well, there's a name I haven't thought about in a long time.
Man, I love Rory Allen.
Roy's a king. Literally.
Such a good dude.
But the fact remains is we just need to get through this game. And we got the West Final coming. So let's get there. Let's pack Mosaic, have a good time on Saturday. And yeah, like come to the Thunder game on Sunday because it's going to be fun too.
Okay. And one more.
And the other thing to know is this.
Bombers suck.
Bombers suck. Absolutely.
Yeah.
One more thing to do this week, and this might be the hardest thing, is the spread of games, picking games. It's time for Piffles picks.
Piffles picks.
Well, folks, when you write 52% of the time, you're wrong 48% of the time.
I only need to get one right this week.
Is that what it is?
I just need to get one right, and I nailed the 52%.
There's still playoffs,
Yeah, but I just want to do it for the regular season, and then we'll talk about playoffs when we get there.
You both went 3-1 last week. I went 1-3.
And I'm
Greg,
2 games behind you.
You're only 2 games behind me. You could pass me theoretically.
How far behind you am I?
Because I've already seen the spreads. I think you
Too
and I are
far,
going to be
Steve.
on the same games. I'm pretty sure.
Well, we'll start with the first game. Ottawa at Hamilton. Hamilton needs to win this to clinch first place.
Yes,
and Ottawa's with Tyrese Adams again as their starter.
I'm gonna go Hamilton by 10.5.
I'll guess that it's Hamilton 8.5.
13.5. Remember when I started laughing before the show started? That's why.
Did you say 13.5?
I did.
I mean,
Jesus.
I wouldn't be surprised if they won by 30.
Here's the thing. If I'm Bobby Dice, I'm burning the boats. I don't care what happens at the end of this game because he should know he doesn't have a job come tomorrow.
Oh yeah, dead man walking.
Yeah, like you burn the boats, you send the house, you send everything, you do whatever you can to go out winning on this game.
Now, I think our picks are Greg's pick and my pick might be dependent on each other's pick.
Probably at this point. At
Well,
this point,
Steve-
we're doing game theory. At this
Yeah.
point, we're doing game theory.
So Steve has the Red Blacks with the coin
But
flip.
here's the other thing. If I'm Hamilton, I just need a win.
Mhm.
If I'm up by 10, I'm probably still dialing back on this. I'm taking Ottawa to cover.
And I'm not doing this just so you don't pick up a game on me. I'm making this pick based on the sole fact that I have money on Montreal finishing first in the East.
I know you do.
And I need Ottawa to win this game.
I know you do.
So I'm going with the heart here, not necessarily the head. I am picking Ottawa. I want that game for Montreal to mean something on Saturday.
Oh, them absolutely curb stomping Winnipeg would be delightful.
2 weeks in a row. Oh, no, I guess they'd be finished first. So it'd be, yeah.
Yep.
Either way, one of these 2 weeks in the next 2 weeks, Montreal is going to absolutely destroy Winnipeg. Okay, that second game on Friday, and this one affects what we see in the Rider game potentially. Calgary at Edmonton. I'll guess that it's Calgary favored by 5.5.
I'll go 6.5.
4.5.
I was thinking 4.5 before I said
I thought
5.
you did. You said, I'm like, oh, he's gonna get it.
Yeah, damn. I'm going with Calgary in this one.
Is it in Calgary?
It's
No.
in Edmonton.
Oh God, I'm going Edmonton.
And
I'm not trying to follow you on this one. I actually honestly think Calgary's gonna beat Edmonton.
I mean, they need it, but
They need it. Like they're
Edmonton-
yeah.
Edmonton losing last week, getting eliminated. Just think if they would have been smart enough from the bat to realize that Trey Ford is not a good quarterback, they're a playoff team.
But even then, you think about that stretch where they lost 2 games in a row on a last-second field goal because their defense couldn't have held up. If they would have won one of those, they'd be in this.
And Winnipeg would be the team looking out.
Yep. So
Another thing Edmonton's not good for.
Yeah.
Bunch of jerks.
Yeah.
Third game, Montreal at Winnipeg. Again, this game depends on basically what Hamilton does. Steve, do you want to take a stab on this one?
I'm gonna go Montreal by 3.5.
you're never going to get it.
Winnipeg by 6.5.
7.5.
What?
Yep. Montreal. Give me Montreal. This is the second one I was laughing at.
I mean, I guess it makes sense if Hamilton wins. Montreal's got nothing to play for.
But why are you setting the line before that? You have no idea.
Yeah.
But when your line is Hamilton by 13 points, you're pretty confident they're going to win.
Yeah, but when Montreal 7.5, we took our scrubs into Winnipeg and lost by 1. Montreal is not going to put up Davis Alexander's winning streak.
Davis Alexander's win streak. When does it end?
Grey Cup.
All of us. Against who? Against who?
Us.
All three of us agree on that.
Right.
That's
We-
Finally
we-
avenged
we-
2009 and 2010.
I was going to say we owe the old flight podcast on that one. Yeah.
yeah.
Flight deck.
Steve, your
Oh,
coin.
I guess I got to flip the coin. The coin says
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
And
Coin hates me today.
again, this comes up to my my bet. I have Montreal winning this one.
I don't care if Winnipeg wins it; they're not going to win it by more than a touchdown. Even if Montreal sends their scrubs, there's no way.
And the final game, BC at Saskatchewan. I'll guess that it's Greg's laughing.
Yep.
BC by 6.5.
BC 9.5. Huh. I only went that way because you were laughing.
Oh, these lines this week are
Wow.
Saskatchewan to cover. I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Riders.
Okay, we're all on that one. That's ridiculous.
So I can't catch you, right? Because we're both on the same things.
We're all on the same, so that means I win again this year.
Yeah, well, until playoffs. We'll still carry this in the playoffs. I'm just hoping for 52%. These lines are garbage this week. I am these lines are not even I get it, but
there's one of them that makes sense, and that's Calgary at Edmonton.
Yeah.
When none of these games matter. Well, I mean, Hamilton, Ottawa, 13.5. That makes perfect sense. Ottawa's hot
I don't know if
garbage.
it makes perfect sense.
The fact that it's not 20 is the shocking part to me.
I can see that
Ottawa's
one
bad.
7 or 8 for sure.
Yeah.
13.5.
Yeah, two scores seems like, don't get me wrong, it seems like a lot. Yes, could Hamilton blow the doors off them? Sure. But the fact remains, how the hell is Winnipeg a 7.5-point favorite before you know what's happening in Hamilton and Ottawa?
Yeah.
There's nothing about that Winnipeg team against Montreal that says favorite.
So
especially by a touchdown and a half a point.
So get those bets in now before the line moves.
My Lord.
Well, we'll leave it there and enjoy this game coming up on Saturday. It'll be nice, not a non-stressful game at Mosaic Stadium.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna be mad if they stink up the place. But...
Oh yeah, but it'll be really easy to go to sleep that night and wake up the next morning and not care.
And I'm going to try not, despite the outcome, I'm going to try not to listen to the call-in shows after because all that does is make me angry.
Oh, they make me laugh every time.
Oh, they just make me mad. Because, some guys need to discover having a podcast, I think. Because, don't get me wrong, some of them talk long enough, they should have a podcast because they like listening to their own voices.
That's why we're here.
Yes, exactly. Or we'd be on the call-in shows.
No comment. As someone who used to work one of those post-game shows, no comment.
There you go.
Piffles Podcast, brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Special thanks, as always, go to Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tag Experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas for their support, making everything here possible. Thank you, the listeners or watchers watching on SaskTel Max TV on demand or YouTube and listening wherever you get your favorite pods, and ours, of course. Just happens to be there at the bottom of the list. But we appreciate it. Thank you. This is Tyler Gilbert closing it out with Ghost Behind Your Mind.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and fan of the CFL and myself personally.